Payhip is an awesome shop builder that is completely free to start selling today. Digital download products, physical products you have yourselves, coaching services, memberships, and all that jazz. And I've been using Payhip for a very long time with my website for this channel, which is matetribe.com. And I've also made videos about Payhip. I made a video on how to start a Payhip shop to sell your digital downloads. I made a video on how to create your links page using Payhip, and even a video comparing Payhip to Fourthwall when it comes to selling digital products, because a lot of you guys have wanted to know these differences. And I will leave links to all of these videos that I mentioned down below in the description. But there is one video that a lot of you have asked me to make, which is how to blog using the Payhip platform. And that's what this video is about. How to create your blog using Payhip. It is a bit of a different process when you create your blog using Payhip versus creating a blog website, for example, with WordPress. The main difference is the post categories, and I will show you exactly how to blog using Payhip and how to create these categories using Payhip in about, 12 seconds? Because before I do that, I just have to get one thing out of the way, and that is, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mayo, and I teach creative people how to sell their art online, and today I'm going to show you how to blog on your Payhip stores. So I'm here on Payhip on a demi store that I'm using for tutorials. This is pdfcoloring.com. I was showing it in the whole process of how to set up your own Payhip store. This is not the main store I'm using. The main store I'm using is matetribe.com. I also have blog posts here, but I wanted to show you the process from the start as if you've never had any blog post ever written. What will you be seeing? So in order to start blogging on Payhip, we're going to have to hit store, the store button up here. And in here, I have three options. I can launch the store builder and build my shop, which we will be using for this tutorial when we style the blog. I can click on domains to see what domain is connected, connect a new domain, or remove the domain already connected to use the Payhip subdomain, or hit blog posts. Now, if I'm going to go to Matetribe, there will be blog posts here, and there will be multiple categories of blogs, but this is what you'll see for the very first time if you've never had a blog post on Payhip. I'm going to click on Add New Blog Post. Let's start with the title, and I already kind of prepared some text relating to the concept of what the store is generally about, which is 5 reasons why coloring pages are good for your mental health. And I have the text here, even though it's kind of bumming me out with the whole numbers, which I can click on the numbers and remove them. Let's talk about text editing. I have here a text about 5 different reasons why coloring pages are good for you, because, that's the topic of the website in this case. Now, it's very nice that the text here is on bold, but it doesn't make it some kind of a heading. Actually, it's much better than to create things in bold. Let's just unbold all of these. It's much better to select this and hit on a type of heading. Heading 2 is something that is literally in the code. It literally tells Google this is one of the headings, one of the topics of this blog post. And when it comes to SEO, I might want to target the keywords inside the heading. So for example, coloring pages are the best mindful meditation. Let's look at stress reduction, change it to heading 2. Heading 1, by the way, is the title of the blog post. It's automatically heading 1. Coloring pages help. Let's do reduce stress. Yep. And imagine I did the same thing for everything else here. Now I have here in conclusion. I can add a line, a horizontal line, to separate this if I want to. Let me add it again. I deleted it by mistake. Let's say I want a line here. Now, what other things can we do with the text? I think it's pretty much kind of like any other system, whether it's WordPress or Squarespace. I can bold the text, italic it on the side, have an underline on it. I can create bullet points, whether it's here or here. Bullet points usually overwrite the heading, so I'll probably just go with heading in this case. I can also create something to look like a quote. Let me just grab a piece of random text here just to show you how it looks. We're going to put it here. We're going to collect all of it. And this is how it looks when it's some kind of quote. It also tells Google that this is a quote. So let's say you are actually literally quoting someone. It's really good to put it in the system as a quote to make sure Google doesn't think you're copying that person, but you are quoting that person or that article. I can also select a piece of text and decide that I want this text to be light purple and the background of it will be very dark purple. And of course, play with the alignment of everything to the center, to the right, and to the left. Another thing that I can do is add a link. So for example, in the case of this store, where are you? There was one product that I did in the process of showing the tutorial. I'm just going to copy the link of this product. I'm going to put it here. And let's say, try out our free coloring pages. Mark this, click on insert link, type it here, and I can decide if it's going to open on a new tab or not. Let's say yes, and save. And here I can also make it bold if I want, italic. It already has an underline, so I'm not going to do it. And I can turn the whole thing into a quote if I want to, which I wouldn't because it makes no sense. Let's say I want to add an image. I'm going to scroll down here, delete the quote option, and click on Insert Image. You can insert an image from a URL if you have an image that is online. I prefer to upload my images, and I have this image that I made with Lexica that is actually very big. I mean, if I have to look at the original size of this image, it's 2300. I can have the original size display, which will not be 2300. It's just going to take the whole screen. Medium, large, extra large, small, whatever. Let's go with large and image alt text, which, as they say here, helps with SEO. Now, one thing that I like to do when it comes to SEO is I like to name the file on my computer of the image to something relating to the title of the post. For example, coloring pages are good for stress reduction. And in the alt text, explain the photo. Stress reducing. Why did I write stress reducing coloring page? Now, these settings, I cannot change them. This is not the most sophisticated shop builder or blog post designer. I cannot go into the image and change a lot of things in it. I also cannot link it. So whatever you do here counts. You can't undo it. If you want to undo it, just gonna have to delete it and start again. I have already sneezed like 12 times in this tutorial, by the way. So if I'm sounding a bit nasally, it's why. Now with the image, what I can do is I can align it to the center or to the left. There is no wrap text involved. Again, this is a very, very basic blog post creator. Now, let's say I do want this image to have some kind of link attached to it. What I can write, let's say I am somewhere selling this specific coloring page, I can write something like, yeah, this specific coloring page here, and then mark the word here or the entire thing, click on insert link and insert a link to it. Now, let's say I want to add a video. Click on insert video and I need to get an iframe embed. If that sounds hard to you, it's not. Let's say I want to add a video from YouTube, which is in this case this one. I'm going to click the share button and not take this. I'm going to click on embed, select everything, copy, starts with an iframe, drop it here, insert video. Ta-da! Now, writing the actual blog post, the topics of what you want to do in it depends heavily on the purpose of your website. And I'm going to give you some examples from Maytribe. We have 17 Procreate Brush sets for Q4, which again is a blog post that I think the title kind of explains it. It's really cool Procreate brushes that I found on Creative Fabrica and actually tested them out because I know that a lot of the brushes there are complete garbage, and I'm sharing these ideas with you. And as you can see, the images are not clickable. I can't click on them. So what I did is wrote that this is one of my favorite one. It has cute penguins. It's really cute for Christmas. It has stamp elements, and you can get this awesome brush here with a link that opens in a new page to this Procreate brush set over on Creative Fabrica. You can also open something in my personal store. Another example for a blog post that I had was, do you have too many ideas? Here's what you should do. There was actually a full video describing all of this. It's that video, and if people wanted to have the page that I was talking to in this video, they can literally go here, right click, open image in a new tab, save it, and print it themselves. You really have to think about the purpose of why you're writing a blog post. I will leave links down below in the description also to things like how to write a blog post or the ways to promote things using a blog. But again, it's heavily related to what you guys are selling. If you want, comment down below what you want to sell on Payhip and what can you blog about. If you don't have any ideas, maybe other people will, maybe I will have ideas and I'll comment back to you. Now what we have to do is create an image to represent this post. Basically, if I'm going to blog feed, this image, the image that is shown here, and it's also the first image that is shown here. And the recommended size is no less than 1260 pixels on the width. I'm going to head on over to Canva, custom size, and maybe the height is going to be something like 700. You can make it 1:1 ratio. I really don't recommend because then it will take up the entire space of everything. We actually have some cool stuff popping up here, but the topic of this blog post was coloring pages. So let me just type in coloring, or I can use my own image that I got from Lexica and just drop it here and set it as background. This way the image would weigh less and it will also be cropped a little bit better. But we are talking about stress or something like that. So let's try to find coloring pages, maybe a woman coloring something. Yeah, a woman. And we are not using this photo for commercial purposes. I'm not selling this photo, which is how you're supposed to use Canva. I'm going to name this photo by the name of the title. And I'm going to download it as a JPEG. You can have text on the photo itself, and you can choose to not have text on the photo itself. Let's just upload the photo here. I'm going to give you some examples. For example, Q4 brushes. This is 17 Procreate brush sets for Q4. I didn't write it in the image itself. However, I did write Q4 brushes, and I used the brushes that I actually was recommending in order to create the banner. In another case of spooky Halloween fonts, I used 3 spooky Halloween fonts and a background. So you can use some part of the title inside the photo as a graphic, or you just have a simple visual like this one. Now, do I want my blog post to be visible or not? I want it to be visible. And which blog is this going to be organized under? This is the biggest point of difference between Payhip blogs and WordPress blogs when it comes to the logic. On WordPress, every blog post that I have, if I click on blog, it's going to feature me all of them. And individually, I can place them in categories and have a page for that category. On Payhip, a blog is a category, and if I want multiple categories, I need multiple blogs. In the case of Payhip, it will automatically tell you to name it news. You don't have to. Let's create a new blog and call it blog. For example, advanced option, if you want to include your author name in the blog, which you may or may not want to do depending on the style of your website. Let's add this puppy up. Now I can view it, and it would look like this. It's a mess, I know. This is what happens when you try to show everybody everything. And there is an automated share option at the bottom for people. But what also happened is that now I have something here to manage comments, which I don't have yet, or to manage blogs. And if I go to manage blogs, I have a blog called news and a blog called blog. And if I try to look at the blog called news, it will have nothing. It automatically created a blog called news, a category called news that is empty. So I can just delete it. Okay. And now I have something called blog. And this is how it looks. Now, the main issue, I don't know if you can see it here, is that there is no representation of the blog. There is no link to the blog from the menu. So unless someone has a link directly to the blog, they can never access it. It's nowhere. Let's work on that. In order to work on that, we're going to hit the store button again and launch the store builder. Now, it doesn't matter what page I'm currently standing on. I'm going to click on header, navigation links, edit navigation links, add link. What do I want to add a link to? I can add to a specific blog post if I want to, or to blogs. Which blog do I want to add it? To the blog, and I'm going to name it blog, and I've said the word blog so many times, and add navigation link. I don't know if you noticed, but it also says with an option to open this in a new tab. This is what I would recommend if you're having a menu item that goes outside of your store, like to your Society 6 store or to Create a FABRICA or something like that. Do not forget to apply changes, to save the changes, and to publish. And now when I refresh the page, there will be a menu item here called blog. And if I click on it, I will see my blog. Now the next thing I want to do is to show you how to style this page. And it's really hard to think about how to style a blog page when there is only like one blog post here. So let me get out of the store builder and quickly create 3 more blog posts so that I'll have 4 blog posts to show you basically the difference. They're not going to be blog posts with content. I'm just doing it to show you the alignment of the page, and with the magic of video editing, it's going to be done now. See, that was super fast. Now I'm going to go to the blog, refresh the page, and it shows me the newest blog post first, and it took all the photos, and inside this page, it presents them as squares. Now, if I go into individual posts, the post that we created, this is the ratio of the image that we chose. This was 1260 by 700, but these were different ratio photos. And as you can see here, if you take a longer photo, it basically takes up the entire screen. So always do this. This is the best size that I can recommend, or even slightly shorter. But if you are going to display it as a square, make sure that the main thing is on the square and nothing is cut out that was important from the side. So if, for example, I had a big text right on top of her, if I would look at it from the blog page, from all of the posts, then the text would be cropped out because it only takes in the center of the ratio. Let's talk about how to design it now that we have multiple blog posts. We're going to enter the store builder again and launch the store builder. And in this case, we're going to go here on what page am I editing and choose the blog pages blog. Here, there is a blog. I can click on it and I can style the layout. So currently the layout is side by side, an image and the information about the blog post, the date, the title, the first few tabs of the text, and read more. If I click on this, if I click on this, if I click on this, it takes a person into the blog post. Or I would like to have alternating side by side, which means this photo is to the left and the text is to the right, but this is to the right and this is to the left, left and right, right and left. Or single column, which will take one after the other. I think it's pretty much self-explanatory, and grid, which will create something like this. This is kind of my favorite option often when it comes to blog post design, and I can choose the number of columns like 3 or 4. Just make sure it doesn't look ridiculous because this looks really bad. Let's go with 2 for this moment. Now I can also decide to align the text that is written to the center, to the left, or to the right. Let's choose left, I think. Yeah, that looks good. I want to show the excerpt, which is the words here, or no. Do I want to show the read more button? No. I can choose to show the author, which in this case doesn't exist. Do I want to show the date? No. So it doesn't show the date now. And I can also preview the whole thing on mobile. So on mobile, this is going to be stacked up, because if it will be split into two, it will make no sense. And this is how you edit the blog page. Let's save changes and publish it. And this used to be our blog. And now it's this. By the way, if you like this video so far or found this content useful, please hit the like button down below, because every time you do that, believe it or not, it really does help my channel. And subscribe to my channel for more tutorials about blogging, affiliate marketing, selling printables, or print on demand. Seriously, a like and subscribe really does help my channel, and I appreciate everyone that takes the time to do so. I can also change the color scheme, and this is based on the theme that I have installed on Payhip. And I can make the blog post look like this. So all the background is going to be orange. Let's refresh of everything. If I enter a blog post, it's not going to be orange, because these are the definitions of the blog page. Now, I want to go back here because I want to show you something. This section called blog, no matter how many categories, or in this case, blogs you will have, it will have the same logic. So if I have to look at Maytribe, I have this blog category, design finds, and this blog category, the blog. They will always look the same. If I make a change to make this one a different type of grid, it will affect this one as well. However, there are things that I can do inside this blog category that will differ, like adding a section. For example, I want to add a section with image with text. I want to add a gallery. I want to add a text, like a title or some kind of banner here. If you have like a sale going on in your website, let's save this, go back. But you can also add products relating to something. So if your blog category relates to a specific product that you're selling or to a specific collection, you can click on featured product and add a product inside the blog page. Let's choose which product. In this case, I have only one. And choose this one. And this will appear under the blog page. Under only this blog page, if we'll create another blog page, we can do the process all over again with something different. Let's publish it. I'm reminding you again, this is a demi store, and every time that I look at it, I'm thinking to myself, I should really get back to selling coloring pages, because it's something that I did, I think like around 2019, and I was really happy doing it, so maybe I'll give it another shot. Last but not least, let's say again, as I mentioned before, you want to have multiple categories to your blog posts. You enter store again, blog posts, manage blogs, add a new blog, let's call it updates or freebies, even though I recommend freebies to be done with Payhip themselves. Comments are disabled. This is how I usually manage my blogs. I don't like people commenting because it's usually spammed. And I'm going to add this blog page, go back to the stores, launch my store builder, go into the header, navigation, edit navigation links, add a link to one of the blogs, to the updates, and add this to the navigation, apply changes, save changes, and publish. And now I will have updates here, which will open an orange blog because that's how we define the section, but there is nothing here because we don't have a blog post. I would like to get back to me to summarize this video, but again, I would like to remind you the categories you're going to have, or in this case, blogs you are going to have, relate to the content that you want to sell, relate to the purpose of why you're using Payhip to sell what. And in fact, Payhip is a place where you can sell so many things. Just for the kick of it, add new product, a digital product, a course, a membership, a physical product that you yourself make, a bundle which is created from multiple items that you have, or a coaching service. So there are a lot of things that you can sell, and based on the things that you can sell or are selling on Payhip, that will determine what you're going to be blogging about. Of course, you can have external links to things the same way that I showed you in my blog post that I'm referring to Creative Fabrica. One example that I can think of is if you're selling printable greeting cards, the blog posts can be different greeting ideas for people to write while recommending your printable products, but also linking out to some of your print-on-demand greeting cards. Just an idea. Comment down below what you want to sell on Payhip and what your blog posts should be about. That should be a fun thing to do. But yeah, let's get back to me and summarize this video. So that was painless. It is extremely painless to create blog posts over on Payhip. Now, you might think this is really cool. I really want to do that. I really want to blog with Payhip. I want to have my store with Payhip and blog with there. Or you might think to yourself, well, I'm not really sure if I want to blog on Payhip or if I want to create my own blog somewhere else. And if you do want to create your own blog somewhere else, I have made a tutorial on how to use the Hostinger website builder in order to create your own blog, and I will leave a link to that somewhere here on the screen, along with the video comparing Payhip with Fourthwall for those of you who don't know and are just starting out with digital downloads and want to know the difference between both of these free shop builders. But with that being said, that was it for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new, and as usual, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!